Alrighty, guys. Obviously, we are off-site here. We're at the car dealership, but hey, we got to get these plays out. I know that you know life calls, and you got to take care of business sometimes. But hey, while we're waiting in the waiting area, might as well get some work done. So let's go ahead and dive into it, guys. We're 9-0 in our last 9 crowd pleaser teasers on my website. So before we get started, just want to make sure you're aware of that. The link for today's crowd pleaser teaser, I'll include that in the description section below. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to the video here today. It's our NBA video for Friday, October 28th, 2022. As always, my name is Brock Page. I've been doing sports picks for free right here on YouTube since 2016. I also sell my personal sports bets on Patreon.com/BrockPage. And once again, guys, I'm 9-0 in my last 9 crowd pleaser teasers on that site. Really the main reason why I wanted to come on here and at least make a couple videos here for you today, because that's important. We are red hot in that package. I don't think we've ever won 9 teasers in a row. So you got to know about that. I'll include a link for that in the description section below, as we have semi trucks and all kinds of vehicles driving past us. But anyway, guys, one more thing. We currently have over 635 members who are signed up and active on that site right now. A lot of good stuff going on. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive into it. Hawks are at the Pistons, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Atlanta's -6, totals 228. Now, the Hawks did get the W in 3 out of their last 4 contests this year, and they're doing a pretty solid job on the defensive end of the court. They're actually in the top 10 in the league right now in guarding the 3 ball. Meanwhile, offensively, Trae Young, he's averaging over 27 points a game, along with double-digit rebounds. And speaking of boards, as always, Big John Collins, he gets the job done underneath the basket. He's averaging double-digit rebounds a game. Now, Atlanta's facing a Detroit squad who's one of the worst defensive rebounding teams in the game right now. They also lost their last 4 straight, and they rank in the bottom 3 in shooting from the field. Now, injury-wise, Burks and Bagley, they're out. Ivy is questionable. Meanwhile, for Atlanta, Bogdanovich is still out with a knee. When it comes to the total, the Hawks saw their last 2 straight get over the number. Meanwhile, Detroit's 4-1 at the over in their last 5. So I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Atlanta -6 in the over 228. All right, next matchup, Hornets Magic, 7 o'clock East. Charlotte is -2, totals 220. Now, we have seen a ton of movement toward the Magic and the under in this one. Rozier and Martin have been downgraded to doubtful for the Hornets. Having said that, though, I don't think we have much to worry about. You got to consider the fact that this Orlando team just isn't very good. They've lost 5 straight to start the year, and they're shooting just 29% from 3 land, so very little threat shooting that long ball. Now, scoring-wise, the Magic's currently in the bottom 3 in the NBA in points per game. They're facing a Charlotte club who scores more points per game than any other club in the association. Gordon Hayward's dropping just about 20 points a game, along with 4 boards, 4 assists. Meanwhile, P.J. Washington, he's drilling 46% of his 3-pointers. Now, injury-wise, guys, once again, Rozier and Martin, they're listed as doubtful for Charlotte. Meanwhile, for Orlando, Fultz, Mo Wagner, Anthony, and Suggs, they're listed as out for them. When it comes to the total in this one, the Magic did see overs this year against the likes of Boston and Detroit. Meanwhile, Charlotte, they saw all 4 of their ball games get over the total themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Charlotte -2 over 220. Next ball game should be a good one. I'm talking about Cavaliers at the Celtics, 7:30 p.m. East. Now, Boston's -6, totals 218. And even though the Celtics are favored at home, they did fail to cover in their last 2 straight. They're also having a tough time guarding the 3 ball. These guys are allowing their opponents to make 40% of their 3-pointers against them. They're also facing a Cleveland team who's knocking down 41% of their 3-pointers themselves. Sadie Osman, he's making 47% of his shots from beyond the arc. Meanwhile, Donovan Mitchell, obviously team leader in scoring, he's averaging 28.5 points a night. Now, when it comes to defensive play, the Cavs are in the top 3 in fewest points allowed per game. And when it comes to the injury report, Windler and Garland are out for Cleveland. Meanwhile, for Boston on the other side, Grant Williams, he's listed as out for them. When it comes to the total, Boston saw 2 of 3 this year stay under the number. Meanwhile, Cleveland saw unders versus the likes of Orlando and Toronto. I'm going to lean toward Cleveland +6 in the under 218. All right, next ball game I have for it is going to be Sixers at the Raptors, 7:30 Eastern start time. Philadelphia's -1, totals 213. Now, this line did flip already. We saw it flip a couple of times, so could be Toronto -1 by tip-off. Lines are moving here, but right now, Philadelphia's -1, totals 213. Toronto did open up as the 1-point favorite, so we did see a 2-point move toward Philadelphia. Having said that, though, it is Philly who's having problems scoring points this year. They're in the bottom 5 right now in scoring. They're also dead last in the NBA in offensive boards. They're facing a Toronto team who does a terrific job rebounding the ball defensively themselves. They're also allowing only 105 points a game. Now, offensively, Pascal Siakam scoring over 25 points a night. He's also averaging nearly double-digit boards. Meanwhile, Gary Trent Jr. is shooting 41% from long range. Now, when it comes to the total, Toronto saw 3 out of their last 5 fall under the line. Meanwhile, Philadelphia is 3-1 to the under this year themselves. I'm going to lean toward Toronto +1 under 213. All right, next and final matchup for our Part 1 video, it is going to be Pacers at the Wizards, 7:30 Eastern start time. Washington's -5.5, totals 229. And even though the Wizards are favored in this one, they did fail to cover in 2 out of their last 3 ball games. Failures to cover against the likes of Cleveland and Chicago. And believe it or not, the Wizards are currently amongst the lowest scoring teams in the East right now. Now, they're facing an Indy squad who has little issue getting on the scoreboard themselves. They're averaging 116 points a game, and they also do a nice job of grabbing offensive rebounds. Tyrese Halliburton scoring 22 points a game, and he averages double-digit assists. Meanwhile, Buddy Hield, he's draining over 42% of his shots from downtown. When it comes to the injury report, Daniel Tice is out for Indy with a knee. Meanwhile, for Washington, Wright and Kispert are still out for them. Beal is questionable with a back. When it comes to the total, 3 out of Washington's last 4 stayed under the number. Meanwhile, Indiana saw their last 2 straight stay under the total themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Indiana Pacers +5.5 and the under 229. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. I like Atlanta -6 over 228. Charlotte -2 over 220. Cleveland +6 under 218. Toronto +1 under 213. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that I'm 9-0 in my last 9 crowd pleaser teasers on my website. I'm going to lean toward Indiana +5.5 under 229.